Story 1. I am 75 years old. I live each day to the fullest because I know I have a limited number of years remaining. Story 2. Life is pretty outstanding, knock on wood. My wife and I both have well-paying jobs that do not require us to work countless hours a week. Our household expenses are limited to the mortgage, insurance, and utilities. The rest goes into investments and travel. Our health is good. Our 3 children all have decent jobs, healthcare, and places to live. They like to drop by and chat with their parents. We have a wide array of friends and interests. Wanting more in life just seems greedy. Story 3. 15 and feeling great. I have much less homework than last week, and I am enjoying it while it lasts. Story 4. 21-year-old female. I am probably at one of the worst times in my life, to be honest. My boss cut my hours from 15 to 3 hours a week at minimum wage, so now I make £35 a week. My best and only friend moved several hours away, and I have gained weight from stress eating. I have a mental health assessment for depression next week, so hopefully I can start to feel better soon. Story 5. I am 35 years old and quietly struggling. I live on my own, pay my bills and rent, and I work and sleep in a continuous cycle. I was in an 8-year relationship. We mutually split a couple of years ago. Since then, I have been on my own. I have no close family, and while friends exist, they are distant because they now have families of their own. I do not do much these days. People younger than me say you should go out and enjoy your own company, and while I try, it is not the same. I will go to a restaurant and eat alone, and that is fine. But I will not take a day trip to see a waterfall. I will not go apple picking. I will not go to the beach alone. I will not drop a tab of acid and watch the stars on a new moon. Life was meant to be shared and enjoyed, and now that I no longer have anyone to share it with, everything feels pointless. Story 6. I will be 57 in January. My wife died almost 4 years ago from coronavirus disease 2019. Her family stole all of our property. 10.5 acres, our home, vehicles, recreational vehicle, tractors, and most of our belongings, and they had 6 of our 7 cats euthanized. Everything we had worked for all of our lives was gone. Financially, I took a $350,000 loss. I have had to start over from scratch with almost nothing and try to build a new life. I am doing the best I can. What eats at my soul every day is that they euthanized our cats. At least once a day it brings me to tears. The stress is worsening my health. I have mostly rebuilt my music studio and have had to buy equipment and instruments to replace what was stolen. I cannot replace everything, but I have bought what I need. 35 guitars were left behind, along with 6 amplifiers and all kinds of equipment and a drum kit. I no longer have amplifiers and am using amplifier simulation software. I am still rebuying tools I need for building guitars and making jewelry. Now that the weather is cooling, I need to walk every day, lose some weight, and get my cardiovascular fitness back. I am doing the best I can. My motto is now never give up. Story 7. I am 40. I feel like I am almost ready to give up, and it is fine. I had my time in the sun, but the future feels hopeless in every way. I am sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact local emergency services or a nearby crisis hotline. I can help find resources or someone to talk to if you want. Story 8. I am a 45-year-old female. I started over at 45 after a falling out with my mother. Feels great, but it is so fucking hard. I am so poor. It is ridiculous, but I am happier. Laughing out loud. Story 9. 39-year-old male. I am still recovering from a major motorcycle accident that was not my fault on September 3, 2023. I had to relearn how to walk and sustained multiple injuries that will be permanent. I will need a complex hip replacement at some point in the future. My life has been put on hold, but I plan to return to work next year and try to live a normal life again. My days now consist mainly of physiotherapy and gym sessions to try to improve. I am in a much better place than I was a year ago, but I need to keep busy or I will become very distressed. That happened when I left hospital and was confined to bed and housebound. Story 10. I am almost 80 years old and recently had a total hip replacement, which makes me the proud owner of a titanium hip and a titanium knee. I had my first bladder infection since 1978, and the antibiotic is new and strong. It makes me nauseous. My daughter is making a fantastic dinner, and I am watching Criminal Minds, so I guess I am doing well. Story 11. I am 33. I enjoy my life. I have a chronic illness I need to manage better, but otherwise I am in decent health. I could exercise more, get more sunshine, and eat healthier. I am married to the love of my life. We live in a small apartment and want something bigger. We want to have a baby soon. We both have good jobs and earn a decent income. I sometimes feel a bit lonely. I rarely go out and do not have many friends in my city. Overall, life is good, and I am very grateful. Story 12. I am 28. Things are going pretty well. I bought a house a few months ago, got married a couple of months before that, and was promoted at my job at the start of the year. Story 13. I am 38 years old and life is great. I am married to a wonderful woman. We have a house and a child, and I am in the best shape of my life. I cannot ask for more than that. Story 14. I am 53. I miss my youth. It sucks getting old. Time flew by. I still feel 30. Story 15. I am 32. It is not going badly. I have everything I reasonably need, thanks to never having children, but I just get lonely sometimes. Making friends is very difficult. Story 16. I am 30, and it is the peak of my life. I go on great hikes every weekend and take many road trips. I am honored to be dating the best woman and have close friends. I work remotely at a good job and feel I have complete agency over my life. Story 17. I am 34, and life is great. I am financially stable and enjoy my job. I am finished having children and am getting back into shape. I am healthy, and my family is healthy as well. I am grateful and happy with where I am today. Story 18. Personally, things are well. I just hate seeing my country turn into a fascist hellhole, but I'm doing fine. Story 19. I am 43 and processing the loss of my brother, who died in December. He was 50. I quit my job the following month and I am still not working because I do not have it in me. His birthday is next week as well. Perimenopause has been very difficult. To top it off, I made the final payment this morning for our vacation next month and my check engine light came on. I bought the car 10 years ago today, so that makes sense. The night before our vacation back in March, my washing machine broke and I had to buy a new washer and dryer when we got back. Story 20. Reading all the comments makes me kinda sad. We literally spend our lives as slaves to the man to be able to buy an overpriced box to live in. There should be so much more to life because what do those things matter in the end? But how are we supposed to survive otherwise? Story 21. I feel tired all the time, but otherwise life is pretty good. I am not really sure what I would want to change, given the chance. Losing 10 to 15 pounds might be nice. Story 22. I am 54 and have already earned thousands of dollars since 2023 as a professional ukulele musician in Las Vegas. More than I ever imagined. Well done, me. Story 23. I am 50. I have reinvented my life in the last few years and it is fantastic. I have started relearning math. I began learning piano just over a year ago with no prior musical experience, and I started learning the violin a few weeks ago. I am single and financially struggling, but my life is now excellent and I am very happy. Thank you for asking. Story 24. I am 41. And honestly, it is so wonderful that I pause every day and sit in stunned gratitude. Love, career, home, travel, health, fitness, and finances are all so good I cannot believe it. It was not good for many years, and I revel in how good it is. Story 25. I'm 23. Not great. My relationship with my mom is fading because she chose alcohol, and I don't know my dad. I have no idea what career path I want to take, and I'm drowning in debt. I feel very lonely and I'm trying to stay positive, but sometimes the idea of ending my life feels comforting. I'm really sorry you're feeling so overwhelmed. You don't have to face this alone. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number right now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for crisis support. If you are outside the United States, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis line. If you want, I can help find local support, a therapist, or someone you trust to contact. Story 26. I will turn 40 on the 29th. I recently left teaching to obtain my real estate license. I am engaged and about to become a stepmother to two wonderful stepsons. I always wanted children and feel incredibly blessed. I am excited for this new age and chapter. Story 27. I am 33 and I just realized how genuinely not great my situation is. I have had high-functioning depression for over a decade, and I think I convinced myself I was okay. I spent the past year unemployed after the nonprofit I worked for shut down. I spent 11 months not even applying to jobs because I felt like taking a break, even though the truth I hid from everyone was that my old job had been part-time for several years. Nobody in my life questioned it because I was so good at acting like I was fine. But then I woke up the other week wondering what I had been doing. I never really cared about making money, but now that I am in my 30s and in America, I realize how idealistic that was, and that I could have saved much more if I had set that goal. I have been applying to jobs intensely, but I am realizing that my skills are dated and not as marketable as they once were, if they ever were. I also feel that I do not deserve the jobs I want after how long I put it off. I am wondering if I even want to stay in the career I have been in for so long, or if I have the ability for it anymore. I realized that I spent most of my adult life chronically depressed when life was not that bad, and now I am situationally depressed because of how secretly troubled I have been this whole time. I was also dumped a couple of months ago because I was avoidant and closed off, and I feel too embarrassed and confused about myself to put myself back out there. So yes, just a typical young millennial identity crisis. Story 28. I am 45 years old. I was divorced a few years ago and am the mother of an 8-year-old daughter, whom I raise on my own. I struggle with health issues, I am building a house, and I have a new, stressful job. I am trying to build something for my daughter. I try to tie up loose ends, make everything work, and make sure my daughter and our dog are happy. Doing everything on my own is rough. Story 29. I am in my 50s, just warming myself next to the dumpster fire I call life. Story 30. I am 60 years old. Personally, I am the happiest I have ever been, but I am deeply worried about the course of current events. It seems we are heading for a serious generational trauma. Story 31. I am 38 and single. I want a boyfriend or husband. Most importantly, I want a child of my own. I am a good person and deserve someone who sees that. I have not had a second date in a very long time. I thought I would have had all of this by now, but with each failed date I feel farther from my dream. I have depression and a limited social network. I have not had a boyfriend since 2018. I am an only child and am thankfully very close to my parents. I hide my sadness with medication and humor. I am isolated. Life could be worse, and I know I am fortunate for what I have, but I want more for my life. Story 32. Life hasn't really started yet, I think. I try to do things I expect to do when I'm older, like spending my days playing video games on my Xbox and similar activities. Story 33. I am 17. I have undiagnosed mental health issues, likely bipolar disorder given my family history and what others with bipolar have told me, and I have been depressed for the past month, unable to do anything productive, having suicidal thoughts and drowning in self-pity. Do not worry. Eventually, I will have another manic episode. I will feel invincible while simultaneously destroying my entire life and not even caring because I feel so great and euphoric and love life no matter what, only to a week later feel the lowest I have ever felt and fall back to trying to kill myself. So yeah, overall pretty mid. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, please call emergency services now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency number or a local crisis line. If you would like, I can help you find resources or talk more about what is going on. Story 34, 45. It took a long time to get it right, just in time for an authoritarian takeover in the United States. I would otherwise be fine, but with US immigration and customs enforcement literally in my neighborhood and terrorizing my neighbors, I am not doing well. Story 35. At 38, I feel a lot better than I have in a very long time. Story 36. I am 20 years old. I do not have a job or an education. I am going to become homeless soon because my parents cannot deal with my problems anymore. I am sorry you are going through this. If you are in immediate danger, please contact your local emergency services. If you can, consider reaching out to a trusted person, a local shelter, or a mental health professional for support. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for crisis support. Story 37. I am 35 and things are bad. I lost my mom in April and it is hard. I am my dad's caretaker and he has dementia. We have funeral and medical bills on top of everything else. On top of that, add what is going on in the United States. I am stressed. I feel like I am constantly a fraction away from a panic attack. I am depressed and trying to grieve. I might lose my health insurance. If Dad and the cats did not need me, I would not be here anymore by choice. For now, I wake up each morning and work on getting us through the day. Story 38. I am 60 years old. I retired at 54. I traveled the country in an Airstream. I am now settled in a beach house in the Pacific Northwest. I am content. Story 39. I am 39, a single mother to a toddler, and have been undergoing 5 months of chemotherapy as of today. Other than the cancer, my life is actually great. I have a job I love, a close-knit family, and good friends. If you had told my depressed 20-year-old self that this is how my life would turn out, I would not have believed it. Story 40. I'm 73 and pretty damn good. That said, this country is falling apart. It's a constant battle to enjoy what I have versus trying to shield myself from all the crap that's going on in the world. Story 41. I'm really sorry you're feeling so hopeless. Are you thinking about hurting yourself or planning to end your life right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now, for example, 911 in the United States, or go to the nearest emergency department. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for crisis support. In the United Kingdom and Ireland, Samaritans are available at 116 123. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or search for your country's suicide prevention hotline. If you can, please consider reaching out to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or neighbor, and let them know how you're feeling. You might also contact a doctor, therapist, or local mental health service. You don't have to go through this alone. If you want, tell me your country or postal code and I can help find local crisis resources, or I can stay and listen. Story 42. I'm 37 and feeling terrible. I can't seem to catch a break, and I'm constantly treading water. Story 43. I am 18 and have a new job. Life is going well. Whether I am keeping up with it is uncertain, but the outlook is good. Story 44. 48. Ready to check out. I have contributed nothing and am just taking up space. But I have good booze and good films to get me through the worst. For now. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Are you thinking about harming yourself or ending your life? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for support. In the United Kingdom, Samaritans are available at 116 123. If you are elsewhere, please contact local emergency services or a crisis helpline in your area. I can stay with you here, help find support, or help make a safety plan if you'd like. Story 45. I am 44 years old. I have never married and have no children. I am polyamorous. I have a good job, an active social life, and a supportive social network. I do not own a house, but I am moving into my friend's house, which should work well for me. I am really happy with where I am in life. Story 46. I am 43. Almost 44. A hell of a lot better than 6 years ago today. I had an emergency abdominal surgery 5 days after another abdominal surgery to address a gastrointestinal cancer. The emergency procedure very nearly killed me. Internal bowel leakage and an infection that led to severe sepsis, my second in 3 weeks, made the emergency surgery necessary. The surgeon on call when I was rushed to the operating room said he did not think I would make it out alive. My surgeon, who ultimately performed the second operation as well, said it, by all accounts, should have been fatal. He later told me that 2 of his mentors, when he described my situation, were surprised I survived. My current oncologist confirmed this based on my chart before our first meeting 5 years ago. Story 47. I am in my late 50s, an older member of Generation X, and things are going pretty well for me, all things considered. My life has been much worse in the past. I have peace, a snug, clean apartment, enough food to eat, enough money to keep the lights on, and hobbies to keep me busy. However, I wake up every day with a heavy, broken heart over what the world is doing to others. I mourn many losses, so while my own life is good, I carry in my heart those who are not faring as well. Story 48. 40. The shitty part of life is over, and I am thick in the good part. Story 49. I am 18 and I am going to university tomorrow. I have mixed feelings about starting, but I will stay positive. Story 50. I will be 59 in 8 days. Things are going badly. I have no job, no money, no friends, no family, and no hope. But here I am. Story 51. 39. Pretty good. Retired. Retirement income covers all living expenses. Working another job so I can spend money like it's going out of style. Story 52. I am 43 and life is pretty calm. I have a loving family. Both my wife and I have great jobs that afford us a very comfortable lifestyle. My son does well in school. Stress is minimal and the food is good. There is nothing to complain about. I am just worried about my parents as they continue to age. Story 53. I am almost 29, which feels pretty decent. I grew up very poor, once going a year without electricity in our apartment, in a disadvantaged neighborhood. I always said my goal in life was to retire young, in my early or mid-20s. I reached that goal through many physical and mental sacrifices, but I am still in good enough condition to enjoy my retirement. Being this young in America and not having to get up and work with a worn-down body feels like a blessing. Laughing out loud. Story 54. A little boastful but really awesome. Thank you. Fingers crossed. Story 55. 50 and it is great. I realize that many are not in that position, and I wish they were. The more happy people there are, the better for everyone. Story 56. I am 46. I am fit and healthy. I love my job. I am happy in my marriage, and I have good friends and strong family relationships. I enjoy great hobbies and a healthy life balance. And I love where I live. I have been around the block. It has not always been this good. And I know everything is temporary and can change in an instant. I am grateful. Story 57. I am 41, and I feel like I am finally figuring it out. Or I just do not give a fuck anymore, which is fine too. Story 58. I am in my 40s and live by the beach in San Diego. I have a loving wife and rescue dogs. I was laid off from a remote job last summer and now have a decent job, which is not as good as the previous one, but overall I am happy and enjoying life. Story 59. I am almost 19 and things are going pretty well. I have a huge fan base on social media, but my family and town do not know in real life. Story 60. I am 20 years old and a single mother. I feel very isolated, only talking to my baby and not to other adults. My baby makes me smile when I feel lonely. My child is worth everything. I feel a lot of resentment toward my child's father. I had to drop out of school because of him. Story 61. I am 55, and it has been a very tough 5 years. Right now, I have undiagnosed health problems and feel very sick. I have always loved living alone, but doing it without much support is hard. Luckily, things are getting better with support, so I am cautiously optimistic that I might recover and truly live again, not just exist. Story 62. I am 31 years old and own a house with my fiancé and our dog. We both have decent jobs and are able to save money from each paycheck. Things are going relatively well. Story 63. I am 44 and doing very well. I am healthy. My wife and children are healthy. I have a decent job and a promising future. My country is in a difficult situation, but otherwise things are good. Story 64. I will be 59 very soon, and I would give my life right now 7 out of 10. Story 65. I am 24 years old. I feel awful. I have a meaningless job, and I am dealing with 2 miscarriages back to back. I am contemplating the meaning of life. If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please contact emergency services or crisis hotline right now. In the US, call or text 988. If you can, reach out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. Story 66. I am 45. Professionally, I am doing better than I ever thought I would. Personally, my wife passed away about 18 months ago, and I am still a wreck. It is better than before, but still not good. Story 67. My life is not going the way I would like. 1. My country is falling apart. Everyone lives in fear of what they say because we have no true respect for the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Instead, people in this country are more concerned with sensitivity and optics. These are luxuries of social comfort, like cosmetics. As a veteran, these are not things I fought to protect. Just today, a man who claimed to be a veteran criticized me for talking to my friend about Charlie Kirk. If employment were not so precarious because of how much power the market has over a person's ability to work, I probably would have re-educated him for it. 2. I am 37 and still dealing with back issues from my time in service. I am in chronic pain, and most primary care physicians usually default to the old line that I am getting old or out of shape. It is demeaning, and it is not what my insurance is supposed to cover. If I am aging or out of shape, help me feel younger and more energetic. Perhaps let my insurance cover a gym membership. I do not go to a doctor to be told I am getting old. It is one of the reasons I do not want to live past 60. 3. Even without physical issues, I feel like I am not doing what I was meant to do in my career. The companies I audition for often do not accept me. It feels as if I would have to be the last baritone on earth for them to cast me. Being able to perform opera is the only thing that truly gives my life meaning. It makes me feel purposeful and capable. Why is everyone so opposed to my achieving the greatest roles and singing on the greatest stages? I wonder how the world could truly come to an end when everything already feels like it is burning down. If I were allowed by some of these companies to take center stage once before I am too old to want to live. Story 68. I will not get too specific, but I am in my late 20s. Things are fine. I have a stable job and a loving wife. The biggest stressors are the current state of politics in the United States and the fact that we have had our house listed for sale for over 120 days, in that order. Story 69. I am 31 and constantly stressed. I am trying to plan a wedding for next year while working a job I need to pay the bills. My friends resent me because I have to prioritize work to survive. Every time I check social media, I see political arguments between the right and the left, but no one mentions the corruption on both sides. I am burned out and I have a terrible feeling about the next 3 years. Please just get me to my wedding day. Story 70. At 37, I looked up my net worth for my age group and found I am in the 76th percentile, so I am doing better than I thought. Story 71. I am turning 40 next month, and things have been going well. For the first time in my life, I feel that things are going to be okay. Story 72. I am 29 and will turn 30 in a month. I am overwhelmed with debt and cannot picture ever owning a home. I want to be a mother but cannot even open a savings account for myself. I have a boring job in a bad southern town. I have been applying for jobs every week for over a year but never hear back. I am obese from emotional eating. At least I get to come home to my dog and cats. They bring a small smile to my face. Story 73. 42. Pretty bad, really. Just filling in time until I shuffle off. Story 74. Everything is great. Now that I'm almost 40, I have constant anxiety about getting fired and losing it all. Story 75. I feel like I'm doing a lot better than most people my age. A well-paying job, a great relationship, a healthy family, and two annoying cats that keep us up at night. Even so, it's hard not to become a doomer given the current state of the world. It feels like the moment I got my life together, everything fell apart and the future began to look bleak. For the first time in my life, I'm not looking forward to what comes next. Story 76. I am 55. I didn't take many chances and made sure life was secure, working really hard for 30 years. I just sold my house and moved to the country to help my family after my separation. It has been emotionally hard, but I am crawling out of it. Dating at 55 is very difficult. Story 77. I am 43, and my life is the best it has ever been. I have a job I enjoy, I love where I live, and I now live alone in my own apartment after spending my life cohabiting in common-law relationships with family, boyfriends, roommates, and coworkers. I feel a sense of accomplishment, peace, and gratitude. Recently received a diagnosis of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and therapy has brought me self-awareness and healing. I exercise and enjoy my hobbies. My life looked nothing like this before. I never thought any of this was possible until 3 years ago, when I changed everything pretty much all at once. Story 78. Objectively, I'm doing all right. I have a roof over my head, I eat every day, I exercise, and I'm healthy. My job is not that demanding, I like what I do, and I'm earning more than my monthly expenses. However, I feel like I have no future, and I know many people my age feel the same. I'm currently living with my mother after being unfairly dismissed from my last job. So I lost my apartment because I could not keep paying for it. Even if I'm comfortable now, I do not see how I will be able to get my own place if things do not change. I could rent a cheaper place again, but why? And most importantly, is this really it? Is paying bills all there is to life? Story 79. I am genuinely miserable. I cannot get my wife pregnant. I have been tested. My dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge on September 17, 2025. I have been passed over for promotions at work. I am a United States Marine veteran who served on 3 deployments and was medically discharged for a shoulder injury that remains bad more than 10 years later. It is hell. Thanks for asking. Story 80. I am 33. It is good but frustrating. I have full-time work in my Plan A career, an interesting job that I love. I am lying next to my wife, my best friend in the world. Yet at my age, I am making 3 times the salary my father did at the same age. He could afford to buy a house and support a family of 5 on a single salary as a public school teacher. It was tight, but they managed. I cannot afford to buy a house. My wife and I cannot afford to have children. I know I have worked hard and become objectively successful in a niche field, but it feels like the ladder keeps getting yanked farther out of reach every year. Story 81. I am 44. All things considered, I am doing pretty well, to be honest. Could things be better? Certainly. I have a family and we care for each other. I am fully employed and saving, and the house will be paid off in 10 years. I am afraid every day for the future, especially for my daughter who has to grow up in the world we will leave. Story 82. I am 50 today. The world is a mess, and I don't think it will ever improve. My dog keeps me going. Story 83. I'm 72, homeless, and living in my car. I'm as happy as I have ever been, but I don't like being shunned by my family. Story 84. I am a 27-year-old man. I technically have 3 jobs and can barely afford to live. My girlfriend is practically an ex I live with. She barely works or does anything. She hardly speaks to me, and I honestly do not remember the last time we had sex. Finding a place on my own is next to impossible unless I accept a place where I will only sleep. So you ask how it is going. It is a wonderful life of stress. Story 85. I am 31 and not doing great. I struggled with depression and anxiety in my 20s and dropped out of college after a few years to focus on my health because I could not find a major I liked. I was in a 6-year relationship with a woman who, for her own reasons, could not hold down a stable job for much of that time. I have been on my own with my dog for the past year. I am struggling to get out of the credit card debt I accrued during that period, and I am looking for a new job because of extreme work stress over the last few years. At least I have had a stable job at the same company for more than 12 years. I have a couple of opportunities coming up, and I hope one of them works out so I can start turning things around. Story 86. I am 22, and I have been so sick this week. I wish I could die to make it go away. Story 87. 18. Mental health is meh. It has been worse, but it is still not great. I am working and I hated college. I have a life plan and am determined to reach it. I feel bored and lonely, but my friends never fail to cheer me up when they are available. We all have our own lives. Mine is drier than my friends' lives, but I will be all right. Story 88. I'm 19 and ready to move past this strange stage of my life. Story 89. I am 32, and I am simultaneously having the best time of my life while also feeling the most mentally low I have ever been. I am finally doing the things I love. Holidays, conventions, theater shows, and spending time with friends and family. But at night I feel lonely, overthink everything, and worry that I will be on my own and feel like this forever. Story 90. I'm contemplating the meaning of life and doing a reassessment. I'll turn 40 in October 2025. Life is interesting and can lead in many directions. Being white while also part of a mixed, mostly biracial family and upbringing has felt like a double-edged sword. You can be singled out and pushed away by one side and then by the other, leaving you in the middle. Where do you fit in? Who will include you? I'm gay and surrounded mostly by heterosexuals. Some accept you, some push you away. The ones who accept make you feel more included, but to what degree, and what will change that? A lot of life experiences tend to shape you, but not always. What things do you draw the line at when it comes to your views and the views of others? Are you singled out because of one view? Do you seek out others who share that view? Do you continue until you are surrounded only by those who think exactly as you do? When we seek others like ourselves, we can try to adapt to fit in, even when differences remain. Where do you draw the line? So many people I have known focus on one thing and that becomes their only focus. For others, it will be many things. Once again, division occurs. What is considered right? What is considered wrong? Do you always do what is right to counter the wrongs? Where do you draw the line? What is best for you? Do you take the hard way or the easy way? The long route or the short route? Who determines any of this? Do you decide who gets to determine it? If you agree or disagree, what do you do? Are you being told what is best for you? Are you self-aware enough to know what is best for you? The world continues to change. There is good and bad. Most of the time, you need to learn to think for yourself. If someone is telling you what is best, question it. Do they have a motive? Is someone else telling them behind the scenes so they can get you to do things or think a certain way? The difference in you as an individual shouldn't be overlooked but embraced. When you lose that, you lose yourself. If you cannot look at yourself or self-reflect and you do not like what you see, it is up to you to change it. Sometimes we cannot do that. Sometimes we make excuses or blame others. This is where responsibility comes in. We can either hold ourselves accountable or blame someone else. This usually involves starting with yourself. Look at people and life overall. Everyone wants to be happy, right? Don't we all have a right to be happy? Do you want it for yourself? Or do you want it more for others? I tend to always want what is best for others. I enjoy seeing others happy even when I may not be deep down. I can pretend, and I have learned to master that. Trauma, in whatever form, can and usually will mold you. I've dealt with enough of it. Rape, abuse, neglect, nearly dying 3 times, including an attempt on my life. All of this has led to tremendous sadness that I would never wish on anyone. Those like me who have experienced extreme sadness usually do not want this to be the fate of others. We tend to do whatever we can to ensure the happiness of others, even at our own expense. This can lead to neglecting ourselves until we are no longer able to help ourselves. We get used and abused while giving others far too many chances. Sometimes you need to let people go for your own sake, no matter how much it hurts. We do not always do this, so we suffer in silence. With all this in mind, what do? Who will ultimately look out for what is best for you? Typically, it is you. Where do you start? If you have made mistakes, where do you begin? Do you accept those mistakes? Did you learn from them? Can you learn from them? I ask that you reflect on what you stand for as a person. What are your morals? Do you always do what is right? No human is perfect. No human has all the answers. But know this, every person has a right to be happy if it does not come at the expense of others' happiness. I wish you well. I hope for the best. Your happiness matters. Don't lose it for the sake of others if you do not need to. Story 91. I am 34. Things are a lot better than last year since I left an abusive relationship, but they are not as good as I had hoped at this point. Story 92. Overall, pretty good. I got married a couple of months ago and have several trips I am looking forward to. Story 93. 23. 24 in less than a month. I do not know what I am doing. The future looks bleak. Story 94. I will turn 30 soon. I am disabled. Given how things are going in the United States, I expect I have 1 to 3 years left to live. My relatives who support Make America Great Again tell me I am better off used as crop fertilizer. I do not see how it is possible to defeat such evil when we are so divided and weakened. Story 95. I am 23. I am scared my dad is going to die soon, and I do not know how long my mom will last once it happens. Once she is gone, I will not have any reason to stick around. I am really sorry you are feeling this way. That sounds terrifying and very painful. If you are thinking about harming yourself or feel you might act on these thoughts, please contact your local emergency services or crisis line right now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, tell me your country and I can help find local resources. You do not have to go through this alone. Consider reaching out to a trusted friend, family member, or a mental health professional. If you want, I can stay with you here and help find immediate support. Story 96. I am 19. Life is not easy right now. My mom has been struggling while I have worked and helped pay the bills since I was 15. My dad was killed in a car accident when I was 13. I am depressed and vulnerable. I am fucking horny all the time and do not have a boyfriend. I made shitty mistakes that make me feel worse. Story 97. I am a 42-year-old unemployed information technology professional. I just ended a 3-year relationship. I have attended 24 interviews in 5 months with no results yet. My car failed due to transmission problems, and I have no funds to fix it or buy a new one. At least I have my health and my house. Story 98. I am 29 years old, married, and own my home in Southern California. I own my dream car. I have 2 biological children and 1 stepchild. We have healthy retirement savings, stock accounts, and other investments. We are both first-generation children who had very little and worked hard for the life we have now. We have been driven since a young age. Overall, we are very happy and fulfilled. Story 99. A 30-year-old single mother learning to survive on love, patience, and hope. Life is messy but beautiful. Story 100. I am 33, and honestly, it is not great. But I want to emphasize this. I am taking it one step at a time, whether I stumble or run. I am finding joy in the little moments, and I am grateful for every breath I breathe. Story 101. I am 38. My life is better than it has ever been. I have a girlfriend, a job, a roof over my head, and a cat. My medical issues are roughly under control. My fitness level is not horrible. It is hard sometimes, but I have known worse. Story 102. I am 19 and doing better than I have for the last half of my life. I had a lot of misfortune because of my own mistakes. At least all my hard work is starting to pay off, and now I am going to college for almost free. I am a little nervous because my classes are not easy, but I am in a healthy relationship and have a loving family supporting me. I also take medication. I love my antidepressants. I have a therapist as well. Story 103. I am 48 and feeling a little crazy. I recently adopted a child from foster care. She already had her parental rights terminated. I did not foster her. It has been intense. I love her, but her central nervous system is struggling. I work in a job where I love the people I work for, but I do not get along with my coworkers. I am happily married, but we are also struggling with the child. Both sets of parents are sick, and I am trying to help them. Life is hard, but I am trying to make it and living my best life. Story 104. It's hard to say. On one hand, I have a pretty good job and am independent. On the other hand, I have no wife or children. I have no real connection to most people, which makes me lonely. Story 105. I am 42 and extremely bored. I feel like I am just going through the motions. I eat, sleep, and work on a loop. I have no idea how to get out of this rut. Story 106. I am 45 years old. I am happy with my life. There are changes I would like to make, including my location eventually, but where I am gives me a lot of what I want, so I am pretty satisfied. I am happily married. I do work I love for a living. It will never make me rich, but it is enough. Life goes pretty well, not perfect, but close enough. I have no complaints about my current situation or direction. I have an injury between my scapula and my spine. I pulled something earlier. It is uncomfortable and it hurts, but it will pass. Story 107. I am 20. I have been at a record low mentally for a while. I expect things will get better soon. Story 108. I am in my early to mid-20s. It is tough, but I am still standing. Long story short, I found a job after 5 months of unemployment, then had to deal with workplace harassment, and after that I found a really great job. I am still stressed because in my new job I am the only full-time employee in my part of the department. My 3 colleagues are 18 to 21, and they leave a mess when they do not feel like working or do not show up because they have a life. My supervisors told me to handle things my way because they cannot force those employees to work due to very specific contracts. I am also trying to figure out my path through my master's degree. I changed universities and the new one is much better, but the information flow is non-existent. I have to figure out every class requirement on my own. The syllabus has not been updated since 2018. There is no Microsoft Teams either. I do have some friends from my bachelor's degree. Their friendship keeps me somewhat sane when I feel burned out or like I am not achieving anything and wasting time. So, there is some happiness, but mostly it is tough. Story 109. I am 22. I feel confused like a teenager and tired like an old man. Story 110. I am 36 and twice divorced. The most recent marriage ended after my spouse cheated 6 months in. It left me deeply hurt, and I have lost sight of any kind of happy future. I have a decent paying job and a couple of friends, but I have lost meaning in life and realized that I no longer want to continue. I cannot find joy in life anymore, and it is very hard to keep going. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or call emergency services if you are in immediate danger. If you are outside the United States, contact your local emergency number or your country's suicide prevention hotline. Please reach out to a trusted person or a mental health professional right now. Story 111. I am 29 years old. My career in biomedical engineering technology is going well. I am being trained on more high-technology equipment every few months, which brings better pay and a sense of accomplishment. I married 2 years ago to a wonderful woman, and we are saving for a house. I have a strong relationship with my family, which is a bonus. There are times I feel I should be further along, but I have a lot to be grateful for, so I focus on that. Story 112. On the one hand, I am slowly making progress in my complex post-traumatic stress disorder and obsessive-compulsive disorder, but ultimately I am still non-functional. Story 113. Things are going fairly well. I am a 32-year-old man. I just reached $10,000 in savings. It may not be a lot, but it is an achievement I am proud of. I am going to try to reach $20,000 next year. I do wish I had a better job, as I am earning $70,000 per year. I will get there. I am married and we have a son on the way, due next month. My wife is wonderful. We have arguments now and then, but we always make things right by the end of the day. She is an amazing cook. Thank God. All things considered, life is pretty good right now. I am not trying to be complacent. I want to grow more as a father and in my career. Story 114. I am 20 and struggling with too many problems. Left to deal with them on my own. Story 115. I am 17, and I would like to say it is not too bad, but I am very worried about my future. Suicidal thoughts have terrifyingly worsened since the start of the school year on September 1st. I had some ambitions, but I am losing them mostly because my parents are barely interested, I believe. Hardly anyone knows. One friend might suspect, but not for sure. I do receive support from some friends. I just had a psychological test provided by the school for all students. Even though I was not fully honest, I am anxious about anyone finding out. Last year I was also not honest, but the school psychologist asked me to redo the test because of emotional instability. Story 116. I am 28 and feeling awful. Next week I am about to move house for the 4th time this year. The housing crisis really sucks. I have been dealing with suicidal thoughts on and off, but then I think about my cat and who is going to boop his forehead and call him a good boy. I am okay for now. I have increased my antidepressant dose and have reached out to friends. Story 117. I am 30, and my husband attempted suicide. My life is a mess. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.